And then I found paranoid behaviour. There was always this. I was always doing something, and I remember the first night I had to tell him everything about what I ever did, and I suddenly felt like I was more kidnapped. So I started to feel like this isn't a marriage. What I thought would have been a happy ending was my worst nightmare.
Check it out, check it, check it out, check it, check it, check it out, check it.
Hey, Greg and the CE, call me hip hop junkie, straight to your dome piece like grass monkey.
Welcome to Mel's Truthful Tuesday. I'm so glad to be here once again with you all. But today I've got a special guest on the show and I can't wait to actually introduce her to you. But before I introduce her, I just want you to like, subscribe, share my talk show. As we know, it is about empowered, untold stories. Now, the reason why I put this show on is basically because when I first started writing my book, I literally knew that I needed to take off my mask and share some of the stories that I went through. As you know, the last couple of weeks, I've been sharing about what I went through as a child. But today, as we know, this is the month of awareness of domestic violence. And so we are presenting our beautiful lady today who's going to come on and she's going to share her empowering story. And I can't wait for her to come on. So let's welcome our beautiful Lesley Edwards.
Thanks for having me. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Come on, relax.
Relax. It's just so good to be here. Thank you for having me, Mel. It's a pleasure. And it's just great to be able to share my life's part of my life story.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you could come and share that story. As you know, this is Mel's Truthful Tuesday. So it's about being truthful. Absolutely. It's about taking off that mask and being able to tell people what you went through and where you are today, because you're in an amazing place right now. But you had to go through the process in order to get out onto the other side.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
I'm excited. Are
I'm
you not excited?
Excited.
Relax.
I'm excited. And I'm just starting to calm down a bit. I haven't done this for ages, but I'm calming down a bit. And I'm excited to share with other like-minded people that have gone through something that they feel worried about.
Most
and
definitely.
they want answers,
Yes.
and they want to hear that other people are going through the same thing and have come out on the other end.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm so honoured that you said yes.
It was an easy yes, Mel, actually. It was very easy for you. It was, I don't know why, but I just felt I needed to be here to do this. I felt a sense of duty, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you for having me, and thank you for choosing little me.
Oh, you're not little me. You're actually a big Lesley.
Feeling the love.
And that's not outward. That's a big, you're Miss Power Pack.
Oh, I love
And we've only met recently, like last year, wasn't it?
I think it was by accident in Dubai.
Yeah, it was in Dubai that we actually had a connection.
Yeah.
And since then, you've just been my sister.
Ah, absolutely.
You've been absolutely my sister. And I couldn't have asked anyone else to be here.
Thank you.
To share your story with.
Thank
and I'm
you
so
so
glad
much.
that you said yes.
Thank you so much. We don't look like what we've been through. I'd like to believe anyway.
Yes.
But it's, as I said, it's just nice to be open and honest.
Yes.
And to touch somebody with what I have to offer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your journey, like growing up as a young person. I know that, you were in the church.
Mm-hmm.
You're still in the church, but you was in the church growing up. Tell me a little bit about that.
My backstory. Well, I am one of 7. I've got 6 sisters and 1 brother.
Oh, wow. I'm the other way around.
Are you?
I've got 7 brothers and I'm the only girl.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you had another sister. I don't know why.
No.
Oh, look at that. So, it's a big family.
Yes.
Big family. Dad's a minister. I don't know if we sort of twins.
Kind of, you told me. I think you kind of told me once. Yeah.
So coming from a home where very strict Christian principles, doing as you're told. One of the principles of my church was you never leave home to get married, or never leave home unless you're getting married. And I was born in a family where it was a very busy, as you probably might know. You're in a home where it's not deliberate, but you can get lost in the family crowd.
Yes.
I felt like I wanted to be looked after and loved, and I left. Somebody approached me for marriage, and I took the offer.
Oh,
basically.
really? But before we
we
go
go
into
that
that, I
far.
know we're not talking about relationship, because everyone knows that I do the relationship podcast, but this is not it. But you said that, you got an offer and you took it. How long was you waiting before you got that offer?
To be honest, I wasn't really even looking, I was really really engrossed in church until I was approached. I don't know why. And I don't know if anyone out there would feel the way I felt. Somehow there was that insecure part of me that I thought I'd never get married.
Yes.
And in our church, you don't go out scouting, or you don't, there was no dating thing. It was very, very strict.
Yeah.
So when I was approached, and I thought, you know what, it's a nice, and I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yes, it smells.
How I left
Tuesday.
home, it was an escape route, because I felt like I wanted to just leave and, experience being with someone, because back then I didn't experience, being held and touched. And I'm going to be real.
Come on, you
and
got to be
being
raw.
intimate
Come on.
with anyone.
Yeah.
And so when I was approached, I don't know why, I felt somebody's going to zoom in on me and take care of me.
Yeah. Was you taking care of your family at the time then?
It's not so much taking care of the family, but as you know, in a big family, everyone's got their chores and everyone's got their bits to do, and sometimes you feel like, I don't know about you, but sometimes you're arguing I did the dishes yesterday, somebody's turn, or I did the shopping, and you sometimes, don't know about you, but sometimes you feel like it's not fair. I'm always the one doing the dishes, and I need someone to look after me, and that was a little loophole that the enemy used to get me to take the first chance to get out, as it were, quote unquote.
Yes.
And when this gentleman came to the church, thought he was, was a perfect one, spoke well, smiled nice, I thought, oh, great, I'm gonna, and all the imagination of, this happily ever after with this person.
Yes.
That was enthralling, as it were. So when he approached me, and he didn't even say to me that he wanted to marry me. He said he was so afraid, because I was one of the ones in my family that was a prayer warrior of the family. I think that call is still on me.
Yes, of
But
course.
I thought that everyone thought that not Lesley. When they found out I was going to get married, or I was approached, they were like, "You, I don't think nobody would ever come near you." I think I'm looking back, I'm thinking, how did you do it, Les? But that Hercules eel of wanting to be taken care of, and you force ripe, and you push something that I believe to this day, Mel, and I don't want to jump the gun, but I believe had I stood back and had I waited and had I just looked a bit deeper,
Yes.
my journey would have taken another route. Definitely would have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult, isn't it, that when you're in that place of vulnerability, of that, I really want this, and you don't know, it's not your time and season.
Yeah.
It's not for you, but you want it, because
Absolutely.
why is
Absolutely.
everyone else having it and I'm not having it?
Exactly. I remember there was this minister, and he said to me, he didn't tell me, no, Liz, I don't think that was of God. Because back in the day, we had a woman that could discern, and she could look at, and she could look at you, and she could know something's not right, something's off. She didn't approach me, but I could sense that she wasn't really 100% happy, and not many people were happy. But everyone says I'm stubborn by nature, so they just thought, well, even my mum said, Lesley, you can change a carpet, but you can't change that if you go ahead and do it. One particular minister, Mel, he didn't tell me not to marry. He just said to me, Lesley, I had a dream. I'm going to tell you the dream, he said. He said, I dreamt you were in a room, and in this room, there was this man, and he was a half man. The bottom part of him was like a beast.
Wow.
And the top half of him was a man.
Oh.
This was just about weeks before I was getting married. Or months, I should say. And he said, the man in the room, you were in the room, and he was in the room, and he took the tail part of him and he wiped you out. Still didn't tell me, Lesley, I think this is linked. And I knew him. I knew, God is so wise, and especially if he's got you. But But I still wanted to I just wanted to be with someone, Mel. I just, when you know,
I know. I've been there. I've been there. I get it.
I wanted to experience intimacy. I'm going to be real.
Come on,
I wanted
Mel's Truthful Tuesday. Look.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone out there. I wanted to find out what it's like to have a child. I wanted to be held. I wanted to, all of that I wanted. And that was more appealing to me than weighing up the long-term cost of that decision.
Yes.
So, and although I had this prophetic warning through this dream, Mel, I still went ahead and did it.
And I've heard that so many times that, women have just made decisions knowing that they've got that warning, knowing that it's like, don't go there, but we still go there. It could be because, you've already started it and everyone knows, or, I've already said yes to him. And, but at the end of it, there's some consequences.
Yeah.
Whether you don't know what's going to happen next, because you didn't know what was going to happen next.
No.
But there's a consequences. Yeah. I remember someone telling me that someone was saying to him, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to marry a wife or do you want to marry a patient? And they were telling him, don't marry this woman.
Wow.
And the woman ended up being a patient, and I mean a mental health patient. Gosh. But he was warned. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that sometimes you are warned in these areas, but we still go ahead.
The desire sometimes supersedes the red flags, because you see things. Come on, God isn't unjust. It's going to give you a serpent. The Bible said if we ask him for bread, he's not going to give us a stone.
Yes.
And looking back, I'm thinking, because to be honest, Mel, to this day, I mean, I got married in 1985, and to this day, I'm still paying, as you probably know, I'm still paying a heavy price. Yes, God forgives. But like David, he says, there's going to be always blood in your house.
Wow.
There's a consequence for every action. And I'm held by God. I mean, I know this conversation can't be without God in it, because this is what's kept me in my right mind.
Yes.
But I've been held by him in spite of my disobedience, in spite of taking what I felt was right for me.
Yes.
So we got married.
Going up to the marriage.
Yeah.
Was there courtship? How long did it take you to get married?
There wasn't that much, because again, in our church, very strict Pentecostal church, where no touching, no petting, no foreplay, no nothing. If you're married, my dad said, if you find somebody and marry them. No playing. No messing around. And for me, I thought it was right, because I think, well, if you see someone and you feel they're for you, all of that messing about, as they say, it's not scriptural. It's not in the Word of God.
Yeah.
And some people think, well, if you don't try before you buy, but they still try before they buy, and they still when they end up, it's still
of course,
don't know them. How do you know it's the person?
Yeah.
Because you're intimate with them.
Yeah,
that's the easy bit.
That's just lust.
That's easy, absolutely. So got married, and I can tell you this, Mel, the first nights coming home, because I will say I was a virgin.
Yeah,
I never knew experience laying with a man from what I imagined to what reality hits.
Yeah,
it was a shock to the system. It wasn't nothing, and it wasn't about crossing over into womanhood. It was more about the character of the person being manifested once the vows they've been exchanged. And it was, for me, it was what I thought would have been a happy ending was my worst nightmare. Wow. I'm not going to hide that. It was my worst nightmare.
So was this on the first time did you notice this just after you got married or in between? Was there any signs or?
There were little signs. It wasn't major signs.
Okay.
There wasn't no outbursts. I didn't, there wasn't nothing that I could say, well, put my finger on, but deep down I knew that. I didn't really know this person. All I knew was that following the word, following the scriptures, you see someone you want to marry them.
And was this individual, was he actually Christian as well?
Well, he came to the church and what's Christian, Mel? What's Christian? Coming to church.
I know.
How do you know? How do you know a person can be there years and they're not really given over?
Yeah.
But because they come there and they say they're Christian and they clap and they sing and we've seen it, down through the years. So, yeah, we came to church, sat in Bible study, looked the part. And then I found paranoid behaviour. There was always this, I was always doing something. And, I remember the first night I had to tell him everything about what I ever did. and I suddenly felt like I was more kidnapped than in.
I'm not laughing.
It was just like,
I can't believe.
what have I done? He was 10 years older than me as well.
Oh, wow.
I mean, not that has anything much to do with it, really, but he was a much more mature person. He'd been
course.
out and about, and I was this 21-year-old, quite young.
Yeah.
Quite young. And I remember just...
And you had to tell him everything of what you've done throughout your
Yeah,
life?
he wanted to know. He suddenly went into this person that I thought, who are you? That's how I felt. Who are you? You know, where have you been and who have you been with and what did you do? And I started to get scared because I'm thinking, this man, if I don't tell him, and you're taught, you know, you don't hide anything from the person
You got to submit, because you learn about
exactly.
submission, isn't it?
And some things I said out of fear was used against me. So I started to feel like this isn't a marriage. This is a life sentence. And I just found that I was with someone that was paranoid, that was just can be smiling with you and laughing with you 1 minute, the next minute just switched on you. I could be sitting there having a laugh with him. I had moments where I thought, oh, that's a nice side to you. But then there were times when I thought he'd get up and just, I'm going out. And I'm thinking, where did that come from? You know? And I lived with that for quite some time. I think the happiest time of my life was when, and it seems strange, was when I had my children.
Wow.
At the whole marriage, the happiest time was, I remember holding my daughter, Salome, and when she was born, it was like a breath of fresh air, and even then, things happened, you know, he was paranoid about her. And I remember one incident when I was heavily pregnant with one of the kids, and I went shopping, and I was so heavily pregnant, Mel, and I couldn't walk. You know, when you get really, it must have been about 7, 8 months. And I stood there with my trolley in my hand. And I remember there was a young man walking past. This is one incident of this schizophrenic behaviour. And as he was walking by, I said, do you mind just taking my trolley to my house? My house is just down the road. Could you take it with me? Could you just, you know, walk behind me or walk in front of me one? And not knowing my husband at the time was somewhere watching, because that's how he was. He'd watch everywhere I was. When I used to work before having the children, I'd see him outside the window watching, and I felt the CCTV was on me. It was absolutely horrendous.
So I know that you've given me little snippets.
Yeah.
But kind of bring me to the place where it all started, where you started to see that, you know, it's going to come to that place of, you know, going through the abuse. Where did that actually start? Was that before you had children?
That was
straight after you got married? Was there, you know, any signs of?
It was as soon as I got married, literally.
Wow. Do you see any signs when you were like, before you got married? Was there anything that kind of indicated to you, he seems a little bit controlling, or?
He had this sort of paranoid, I'll sit up and then we'll just jump up and I'm gone, you know. There was that thing that I saw once or twice before we got married. But again, love is blind, isn't it? Or lust is blind, I should say. So you just think, all I want to know, I know he'll be all right. He'll be all right. You know. And in your mind, you just think, I just want someone to just to have me and to just love me and to, you know, I'll come out of the family of all the kids and everyone being distracted to having someone that will zoom in on me. That was what fooled me, Mel. So I didn't see it clearly until the marriage was consummated, and then I just it turned into something really horrible and really. To this day, it sounds strange. I'm happy being single, and I think it might be the trauma. Whether it's a trauma, or I don't know. But the memory of having someone that was just there and that you were just using you and abusing you, and just everything you did was, you know, you're up to something, and you just think you have to think, how am I going to explain this to him because he's going to think this. That's how you live.
It's like living as a prisoner, really.
Absolutely,
because you're literally have to be accountable to things that normal people would not even think. There's some accountability, obviously, when we get married, you know, when you're coming home, babes, I'm coming home now, or, you know, but to actually come to your workplace and, you know. It's
it was much. Just, you just saw him come out and you see him in the corner of the road, or, you know, you'd be cooking and you just see his face, you know, And it's
Well,
just like it
actually,
goes.
when you're actually cooking your meal, and
Cooking
you're,
a meal, or you're at home, or you just show up, or you just always just somewhere there ghosting you. It was just a horrible experience. And as I said, when I had the children, I had my daughter, and I cried every day. I cried every day, Mel. I don't
when you was
remember
pregnant or after having the baby.
when I was pregnant. The whole body changed. You know, you're teary as
Yeah, of
well,
course.
and there was no emotion of. I don't remember him holding my face or holding my hands. I don't remember ever experiencing him saying, "You look lovely today," or I've never had that, Mel. You know, that I don't know if anyone else can relate to that. Never can you imagine being in a marriage and the only time you feel loved was when you were 3 o'clock when you were turned over. I know it sounds crude.
No, it's true.
But
Mel's Truth for Tuesday.
That was us women, I think we love differently, don't we? We're the touch, the hold, the hug. Sometimes we don't even want to go all the way to having sex all night.
Yeah.
We just want to be told you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
And I don't remember having that experience. I don't ever remember it. And I just remember getting pregnant, crying every day, going through changes in my body, and then having my daughter, which was, as I said, the best thing that happened to me, because I just thought she just smiled every day. She's just such a lovely baby. And I remember having to leave. I've left several times. I don't know if we're coming to that part where about how
did
I
it
leave.
start? Yeah, we were going to get to that bit.
But having to I just after a while I just thought, I can't do this. I can't, and one of our rules were that, you had your children, you had, so I had them quite back to back. I had 3 children,
yeah.
1 9 months, 1 born, 1 1-year-old, and 1 2-year-old.
Wow.
So they were quite close together in a sad state. And how they came was several times I made attempts to leave because of the paranoia, of the accusations, of the threats, because it wasn't always physical. It wasn't always physical.
So when did the physical part start? When did that happen? Because I forgot to tell everyone, the show just says, I didn't know how to leave. I forgot to even introduce that we didn't know how to leave. Yeah, and it just come back to me.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about, the fact that, you've got your kids.
Yeah.
The physical side's come now. Obviously that you had all the other stuff going on, him coming to surveillance you and find out where you are and, what all the... But when did that physical side start?
That physical side, I must admit, Mel, it wasn't... And some might think, oh, well, it wasn't that bad because you weren't a punching bag. But the physical side wasn't every day and often. It was very few and far between. And it was worse for me because you didn't know what he was going to do next. He was that sort of person. He'd look at you and you're thinking, what is he going to do next?
Wow.
That was terrifying because you're just thinking, he just had this glare, like, he's calculating where he's going to, I'm thinking he's probably planning on putting me in a bath of acid or something. What is he thinking?
Oh my God.
That was the terrifying part.
Yeah.
But there was 1 or 2 incidents where one of them was when I remember feeding my daughter some food and I don't know where he was watching me feed her from where or how. And he just held me by my neck and pinned me. And my daughter to this day remembers and pinned me against the wall. And I thought, this is it. I'm finished. And I don't know how he let go. I don't know. But he just accused me of poisoning my daughter. That was the sort of mindset he had. And that was one incident of a few. I remember a time I had to run and hide, and he broke into one of the bed and breakfast hiding places I was in, and just had a baby, and there I was assaulted there. I don't really want to go into the depth of it because it is just so triggering. But that was another incident, So I had to. It was hard to live with that. And as I said, when I had the last child, I remember looking and thinking, I can't stay in this. I can't live like this. I can't exist like this.
Yeah.
And I remember having my last child, Joseph, and I remember when I saw this pattern that wouldn't stop, because several times I attempted to leave, and he'd soften, and he'd, as they do, and you think, right, you know, and there's a thing called a soul tie, isn't it? Even though you know deep down that then they're not going to change.
Yeah.
That once you get that connection, that physical connection, there's something about that physical connection that you just think, I can't walk
You've
away.
got to think about you know, this was your first.
Yeah.
You know, this was your husband.
Yeah.
This was your children's father.
Exactly.
You know, there's so much. It's broad. It's not like, oh, it's just a guy that you just met and you've got no connections. There's everything is connected to you.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about we don't know how to leave, some people will say, but just pick yourself up, take your kids, just go.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much more to it that
Yeah.
it's not easy just saying I'm just going to go.
To walk away. And several times, sorry to interrupt, I did walk away. I did attempt to walk away, and I was in about 4 or 5. One of the times I left the whole house full of furniture and just thought, I can't do this. Grabbed everything, just went, because it was just soul destroying. And that smooth talk, that smile, that, you know, even people used to look at him and think, oh, Leslie's lovely. What's your problem? But they never saw that.
Did they see a side to him that didn't look like you had problems?
Definitely. He was such a charmer, such, you know, cute guy, and you know, and he's all right, Les. He's, you know, and it's only as I zoomed in close that, oh no, there is a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on there. But when I left, the relief of leaving, with my one day I had to just take my daughter and just disappear and left. And I remember, as I said, the last child I had, I looked and I thought, I can't stay with him. I remember with my last child, Mel, he was in that ward after he was born, and I remember going into the room to just get cleaned up after just giving birth, and I sat there and I thought, right, and this is how I am. I can give you a lot of chances, but when I come to a point where I think, that's it, you can't change my mind. Can't change my mind. And my last child, I thought, that's it. I need to stay away from this marriage. It's going to destroy me. I have to get out.
Wow.
And I ended up leaving. I remember him coming to finding me, and how he found me was because of my local church.
So at this point, did you leave with the 3 kids? Was it, you had the 3 kids by then?
I had the 3 kids by then, and that's when, when I had the 2 kids, after the second one, he broke in, and I obviously slept with him, and then I found myself pregnant with the 3rd one. That's how the 3rd one came.
So when you say broke into your home?
Yeah, he somehow, this is about 1985.
Yeah,
so it's about 4. So I'm trying to be as accurate as I can.
Yeah.
But basically, he broke in the middle of the night.
Wow.
How he got in some of the places, I'd just be there and I'd sleep in and open and see his face at the window. And one day he woke up just over my bed. I mean,
that would be so terrifying.
Terrifying. And you just give in. You just give in, and I just thought.
And what was your thoughts at that point when he broke into your house? Do you still see him that's my husband, or what's your thoughts?
There was a fear there. There was that fear there. There was that fear mixed with, maybe if I don't give in to him, it's going to be a problem. So there was all of that going on. And
what would that look like to you, though, if you didn't give in to him? What would that, if you decided to say, get out of my house?
Well, it came to that. Eventually it did come to that. It did reach to that, where eventually when I had my last child, he continued. And I realised with him, Mel, that a lot of the time, their bark is louder than their bites. A lot. And I looking back now, it's only when I said, give it your best shot. Give it your best shot. I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of wondering. Give it your best shot. So eventually, because it was a pattern, he'd break it. Anywhere else, he'd find me, and I remember him breaking in, and there was still, it's so strange. I don't know if you've been through this, where you don't love them anymore, but there's still there's emotions that.
Oh yeah.
So when he come in and, oh, Lesley, I really miss you, and and I still felt that emotion where just giving to him. You haven't been helped for a long time. You know you can't stand him, but you still. And I shut that down, even with all those feelings, until I said to my sister, they die away, they die out. But there came a point where I thought, do not give him anything intimately anymore.
Yes.
Do not open, no matter what he does, shut it down.
Yeah.
And I realized eventually, Mel, still, even my daughter remembers saying, Mum, I used to wake up and see a shadow at the corner of the door. And
even her,
she remembers.
She has had trauma
She remembers.
as well.
Remembers. And, you know, I just sort of as I said, just said no, until eventually realized she's made up her mind. She's made up her mind. She's made up her mind. And I realized, gosh, I could have really put my feet down a long time ago. But at the time I didn't know what he would do. But it's been a long, tough ride. Mel. And thank God I'm here to tell the tale.
Yes.
So I left him, as I said, I left, and my accomplishments, people...
Did he ever come back, or did you...
Eventually he didn't. Eventually he didn't. Eventually...
Is it where you went, or he couldn't find you? What was it why you think that he didn't return
He could
again?
find me, and then I realised there was a side in where he turned really cold. He became cold because he realised I wasn't going to give in anymore, and I wasn't afraid anymore. That's when he realised she's turned into another person. And that was a long time. It took a bit of time to reach that stage, but I got there.
Wow.
And it toughened me. It made me resilient. It made me determined.
Yeah.
And it was my saving grace, just saying no and meaning no.
Yeah, of course.
So when he'd come round, I wouldn't hold the kids from him. I'd allow him to still see the children. And he wouldn't even address me as by my name. He'd say, "Where's she there?" When he asked the kids, I was she, I was it. So I was like a commodity. I was like an object, which to me was neither here nor there by then. But being on my own now, and seeing what I've accomplished. I'm not talking about women's lib. I don't hate men. It's not made me bitter against all men.
Yeah.
But it's made me realise that there is life. There is life after being lifted and dropped. And the things I've accomplished, I didn't think I'd managed to get a job of 20 years.
Wow.
I managed to grow the kids up. I managed to travel. I managed to get properties. The things I've done, the bounce back.
Yeah.
After the tears, there was a massive comeback. And I'll tell any woman and any man for that matter, because sometimes we make it look like it's always the women that are the victim. Any man, because some women, what they can be like.
Yeah, they can.
It's both ways, isn't it?
Both
really?
ways, yeah.
That after the tears, there's a song that says that there shall be glory after this. And trust me, I'm sitting in a place now in my life where I'm thinking, and I know, we know who it is. We know it's only God.
Yeah.
The song said, I'm living this moment because he made a way. And I look at, yes, I'm still paying through some incidents, but especially my daughter, was my business partner, and my friend, and I watch God turn it around for my good. That today I'm in my right mind. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I feel highly favoured. I feel loved.
I just want to go back a little bit, just slightly.
Yes.
Because you just said something just triggered me to ask you, because you said you're in your right mind.
Yes.
At that time when things were really bad, did you feel like you wasn't in your right mind?
Oh, there were many moments where I felt like it's over. I felt on the edge. I felt didn't feel suicidal. Thank you, Jesus. But I felt so low. Feelings of being low and rejected, and thinking, is this the definition of marriage? Is this what I was told to be, ecstasy and love and happy? And always low, always just that was my mindset, was like, and insecure, very insecure.
Yes. Did he make you feel insecure in your marriage?
Yeah, he did. He did, because I had an accident, and again, body image. I had an accident when I was young, and I'm not afraid to say this now.
Yeah.
Where I thought that I would never be loved because of an incident that happened when I was younger. Obviously, that wasn't a problem because I've had 3 kids. But but then when he did make remarks about after laying with you about how you look, and I'm sure women have had, that damaged the inner me. I mean, today now I'm just over so much. I look at myself, and I look at my younger self, my 21 self and 30, thinking, Lesley, you've come so far.
Wow.
That I'm like almost shrugging my shoulder, like, you know. My daughter said to me the other day, she said, Mum, Dad spoke to me and he says he wants to do business with you. And I told him, she said, I told him. She said, Mum doesn't want nothing else to do with you.
So he still wants to come back.
Well,
to an
didn't want to come
extent,
back, but he's seen that he's seen
that you strived.
that we've survived.
Yeah.
And thrived. Yeah. And so,
Do you talk to him as a person?
I've not heard from him for many years now, Mel. Actually, I've not heard. I
Okay.
think the kids hear from him from time to time.
And have you been able to forgive him?
That's a good question. That's a really good question, because I have. I feel I have. The other day I saw him. When I say the other day, about 4 or 5 years, if not more. And when I saw him, before I'd be all emotional, I was able to look. And I believe if he was I was to see him in a room, or I'd be able to sit like I'm sitting with you and not feel a hint of pain or guilt or shame or fear, because that's how far God has brought me from and brought me to. Long time coming, feeling how I feel on that, as you said, I've forgiven him, but I don't. What is forgiveness? It's forgiveness going back,
And forgiveness doesn't happen overnight.
No,
It's a long process.
it is.
And people think that you can just say, I forgive you, and that's it.
Yeah,
But, I've had my own experience of unforgiveness.
Yes.
Whereas, there was a time where I was talking to the person I didn't forgive. They couldn't see me, but I'm frowning.
Yeah.
And I'm getting upset. And God said, you're not forgiven them as yet.
Wow.
So it takes, and that was years later.
Wow.
And until I had to go to the altar and really lay down and say, God, I forgive, it got really bad.
Yeah.
But I had to forgive.
Yeah.
Because we've got no choice in forgiveness.
That is hard though, especially when you think, what did
you've
I
put
do?
you through. I know.
I didn't deserve this. I felt like speaking into my inner me, I said to this person, I said that I had the dream about this man being half man. And I said to them, I reminded them the other day, and I said, remember the dream you had? And then I said to them, that coupled with the scripture that says, had you stood in my counsel? That was the word that I got from that dream.
Yeah.
Had you stood in my counsel? And I know that people say you've got to forgive yourself, Lesley, but I'm looking back and I'm thinking, God, how different it would be had I waited for you to send me that right person. Because I believe, Mel, I should have been married to a minister. I believe my life wouldn't have been this way.
Yeah.
I don't believe God would have given me this. He wouldn't give me this,
Yeah.
And so,
But I also believe that your pain has become your power.
yeah.
Even though, because I was saying that in my last show,
Really? Yeah.
that, beating up myself as well, like, God, why did I have to go through all of this?
Yeah.
Why I don't deserve this? And I
Yeah.
could have been here and I could have been that and I could have, but I believe, like, I wouldn't be doing this show,
Yeah.
if I didn't go through what I went through.
Yeah.
So, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, if you didn't go through the stuff that you went through. And there's so much you're going to do with women.
Yeah.
You're just in the beginning stages of, opening up what you've got to do with women. But, the journey is never easy. And it's always like a jigsaw puzzle. We don't know why the pieces are being put together and why we had to go through that stage in our life.
Yeah.
And obviously those pieces wasn't great.
Yeah.
But when you put them together, you realize the end journey, like, oh, I understand the picture why I went through that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not easy because sometimes you think, why me though? Like, why
Yeah.
couldn't I just have, as you said?
Absolutely.
And I look at my life and I think, why couldn't I just have A, B, and C and D?
Yeah.
I'm always having A, then I'll have Z, and I have J, K, and it's all mixed up. And it's
Absolutely.
like, why did I have to go through all of that?
Yeah.
Why couldn't I just have it?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like everyone else,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and they're living happily ever
Absolutely.
after. And we're
Absolutely. I do watch, and when this is a consolation as well, when I watch, my daughter's been married for 13 years. And the consolation is, Mel, is that history didn't repeat itself.
come on now. Just like my
know.
daughter as well.
Thank you.
My daughter's married to
Yes.
an
I've met her.
absolutely amazing husband.
Gorgeous.
And what's so nice about it is that we're seeing our fruit. We're seeing our
Absolutely.
seed
Yeah.
actually, you know, come
Yeah.
forth. And the things that we, obviously, you know that I was divorced as well.
Yeah.
And went through same type of, not domestic violence, but, you know, mental abuse and all the rest of it comes with. But the niceness of it is that looking at, and I'm sure you're thinking the same, looking at my daughter, I
Yeah.
know that there is life after and that you
Absolutely.
can meet a good man.
Yeah.
And you can have that good relationship.
Yeah.
So I still believe for myself. I don't know about you, but I still believe God for myself.
Yeah, yeah,
But at
yeah.
the same time, we're looking at our seed.
Yeah.
And
that's a
recognising.
consolation.
Yeah.
That is a consolation that you're looking at your daughter and you're not thinking, oh my God, history's repeated itself.
Yes.
She is, the way I watch the way he holds her face, and I watch the way they do things together. And they have their moments. I think arguments are healthy.
Oh, they have to
I
have.
think,
yeah.
misunderstand. If every day your husband's saying yesterday, there is something
Something not right,
something
innit?
wrong, something wrong.
You have to have a mistake. You have to. They say if you're not having any arguments in your relationship, because you need to find if you can find a solution.
Yeah.
So if you know that you have an argument and you find a solution, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But if you're not
Yeah.
having any arguments, and you know when we have one big old bust up and you ain't got no solution, you're walking out.
Trouble, yeah.
Do you know
exactly,
what I mean? So it's
exactly.
good to have disagreements, arguments,
It's
whatever you want to
healthy.
call
It's
it.
healthy. That you can't come between them, you know. And for me, I can sit back and think, thank God, she loves her husband. They're a team.
Yes.
Like I've watched your daughter and her husband.
Yes.
Beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's rewarding for us.
Yeah.
That we can
It
see our
is.
children.
Big reward.
When we've gone through our own mess.
Yeah.
But then we're seeing our seed actually, you know what?
Exactly.
They're doing well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they look well, they sound well, they're, you know, all the stuff that we
Exactly.
know behind the scenes what it looks like for us.
Exactly.
So that's actually amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I I don't think it's people look and they think, as you said, that you know some of us we still want to probably experience marriage, still want to be, hopefully get it right the next time, but I still while waiting,
Yeah.
people it's waiting and being single. It's not a disease. I always say
No, it's not.
there's still things you can do. I mean, there's so much I'm doing now.
Yes.
I'm about to do I told you my EP.
Yes.
61. I'm
Yes.
so looking
She's a
forward to
great
that.
singer, by the way.
No, I shouldn't say. I shouldn't.
Should have got her to sing, really.
Well, no, maybe next time. But it's nice to know I'm doing that. That's something I never thought I would do.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I went to Dubai, I never
Yes.
thought. Well, we wouldn't be here, would we?
Yeah.
But that was another thing I stepped out and did. And so many things I've tried,
Yes.
which I would never have done. Maybe I wouldn't have done if I was stuck then. Thought let's get on with it and just he's here already.
Yeah.
And I think that's a danger.
Mm-hmm.
Staying somewhere where you know it's not working,
Yeah.
you know it's eating at you, you know you're not going anywhere,
Mm.
and you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're stuck because why? Because it looked bad.
Yeah.
Because you're saving face. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you in that position? What's the reason? Are you in love? Are you enjoying your life together? Or what's the reason?
Yeah. Of course.
What's the reason? So, yeah.
So
that's
I've
my
got
story.
2 questions, but my first question, I just want you to tell someone who's watching,
Yeah.
a woman, if they're stuck, like how you were stuck,
Yeah.
just to encourage them about getting out and, getting on the other side, just to give them that encouragement.
Yeah, and I want to encourage you, wherever you are, that, there is life after divorce and after abuse. There is life. 2 living witnesses here today.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't know how to make the move. You don't know where to make the move. You've been in it probably for so long. But you've got to make that decision at the end of the day that it's either do or die. And if every day you're waking up and all you're thinking is, I don't want to live, I'm in a prison, I'm always crying, that's your call to say, you can change it.
Yes.
You can, I'm telling you, 61-year-old me now from the
And
21.
look how amazing she looks.
Oh, bless you. Feeling honoured. But when I was 21, 31, 41.
Come on.
And my life began at 40, actually, because that's when I started my career.
Wow.
Midlife. And at 60, yes, at the end menopause and
Yeah.
but overall, my daughter said, Mum, you're like a free spirit. I just will not keep still. And I will not feel sorry for myself.
Come on.
I will not allow anyone to make me feel smaller than I am. I know I'm of worth without bragging.
Yes.
And I know that whatever, I'm a believer that we can all win. We
Yes.
can all win. This isn't about, and that's a problem sometimes. Sometimes there's a competition thing, but we can all win. You can win. You can win. You can come out of that. You can be a new person. Just make that move. Just make that call. All right. And there is somebody that is going to be on the other side to listen and to help you come through. All right. So God bless you. And I hope that this conversation will do something for you in your decision making. God bless you.
God bless you. And just the final thing, I just want you to tell your 21-year person, what would you have said to her? What would you say to her now?
I would have said to my 21-year-old self, don't do it. Don't do it yet. Wait another 10 years. Live life. Enjoy a bit more of your freedom. Explore, travel.
Yes.
Love your life. You're okay. You're going to be okay. You're not that ugly. You're not that distorted. You are beautiful. You can do this. That's what I would have told my 21-year-old self, Mel.
Wow.
That's what I would have.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you're so amazing,
Thank you.
as you really are.
Thank you.
And, I just believe that, God's going to take you to higher places. This is just the beginning, not this show, but just the beginning.
Thank
As
you.
you said, it started at 40 and you're just trailblazing.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
you've got so much more.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think, as you said, like if I didn't do that, I would have been there. The story hasn't ended. Your story's just beginning. What makes you think you couldn't have that husband who's a minister?
Yeah.
What makes you think that you couldn't have the things that you wanted at 21? So it doesn't end today. It doesn't end last week or last year or 10 years ago. It's just the beginning of your journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really sincerely believe that God's going to do some great things. And,
Wow.
you
For
know,
us, I think. And I
yeah,
thank
most
you.
definitely.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you for believing in me. That day when we were in Dubai, and I remember when you were meant to fly out the next day. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you stayed in that hotel and you went into intercessory prayer in that hotel. That
Yes.
was amazing. God is so strategic, isn't he?
Yes.
Isn't he strategic?
He's so on time
I
as
thank God just by helping out with the choir, wasn't it? That's what we did.
Yes.
And here I am, in partnership with you, and it's just amazing
Yeah.
connecting with you. Thank you again for having me.
And thank you so much for coming to share with the people, of your story. I know we didn't go into too deepness of it, but, what we spoke about, I'm sure people got the gist that, wow.
Yeah.
There's some people that might know a bit more, but it's nice just to give us,
Yes, yeah.
in and out,
Thank you
So,
again.
Thank you so much.
Honoured, thank you.
So that was Mel's Truthful Tuesday. Thank you again for joining us. Obviously, we will be back with some more untold stories. I have got another lady that's coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And as I said, like, subscribe, share, and thank you again. So take care. Bye.
Check it out, check it out.